Hi everyone, I'm Loki from the Dyslexia System, and today I want to get into what OSDD-1b is. I have my iPad right here for the symptoms that are described. The wording is just all over the place. That are described in the DSM-5 to get it all right and so that I don't forget anything. So yeah, let's get into it. First OSDD is trauma-based disorder, which means that what they're thinking now, what the theory of at this moment is that it forms around the ages of 7 to 9 years old as a kid, because around that time your personality becomes one. Before that, it's scattered all over the place as an early kid. But if you've gone through repeated trauma before the ages of 7 to 9, your brain can put up amnesia levels because your brain's like, no, I can't deal with this trauma right now. I need to shut this off. I need to forget it and I can deal with it later. So because of those amnesia levels, your personality can't integrate into one, and instead forms all these different personalities or alters. I think it's most of the time that goes, but at least you're not supposed to know that you have OSDD or DID, because this is the same way that DID is formed. You're not supposed to know that you have it because it's your brain's protection mechanism. Some find out in their teenage years, some find out when they're 30, 40, or 50. It really depends, because you're not supposed to know. And the moment that you're like, maybe I have this, your brain will tell you that's not the case, and that you're just faking, and that you're just confused or whatever, because you're not supposed to know. It's the way your brain is protecting you from all that trauma that you've gone through. Now, you only 1 to 3 or 1 to 4% of the population has this, which is at one side small fraction of all the people, but it's also a really big number. But that's the amount of people that have DID or OSDD, not just OSDD. I don't think they have a number of how many people have OSDD in percentage. So that's the wide range for how many people have it. What was I gonna say? See, this short-term memory is failing me, but I'm pretty sure this works. Yeah. Yay. I'm gonna make a video about that for next week, don't worry. In case you wanna know what that is. So yeah, not everyone who goes through trauma in their early childhood develops OSDD or DID. You have to be able to dissociate to a really high level in order to form this. A lot of people people probably know what dissociation feels like, but you have to be able to do it really high standard. Like, this was an example from when I wasn't switching between alters, but was really dissociating. Was when a while ago, I think it's already a couple months ago, I went to table tennis again for the first time in like 4 or 5 months, and I really didn't like it. It was just like, I have to do this, I have to deal with that one friend again that I actually don't really like, but I'm not gonna tell her because things are friends and blah blah blah. So I dissociated so much that I literally couldn't think of anything. I had no thoughts running in my head. All I could do was play table tennis because that's what I was supposed to be doing. And afterwards, I could barely answer questions that people were asking me because I was so far gone. I was legit no one. I was having a conversation with my lover because I was actually able to do that, sort of. But I legit told them I'm no one. I have no thoughts, my head's empty, I have no feelings, I'm just only existing, and stuff is happening around me, but I can't respond to it whatsoever. So yeah, that's a pretty high level of dissociation, but like with alters it goes one step further because, you know, it's a whole different personality. So yeah, that's just an example to maybe give you an idea of how high level of dissociation it would have to be. Now, to get into the criteria for getting the diagnosis of OSDD, I'm just gonna say the ones for DID, except the one that you don't have. If you have OSDD-1b, it depends on which version of OSDD you have, but today I'm only talking about OSDD-1b because that's the one that I think I have. So yeah. First of all, you need to have a disruption of identity characterized by 2 or more distinct personality states, which may be described in some cultures as an experience of possession. The disruption in identity involves marked discontinuity in sense of self and sense of agency, accompanied by related alteration in affect, behavior, consciousness, memory, perception, cognition, and or sensory motor functioning. These signs and symptoms may be observed by others or reported by the individual. So this is about the fact that you have to have at least 2 or more alters. So the host and 1 more alter, but it can also be more alters. Like I have around 10 alters in total in my body, including myself. But it can be as little as 2. It can be as much as 2,500, and maybe even more. Now, the second criteria that is listed here is the one that doesn't have to be there for OSDD-1b, I think. And that is recurring gaps in the recall of everyday events, important personal information, and stress or traumatic events that are inconsistent with ordinary forgetting. So, I do not remember the trauma events that happened in my early childhood or maybe afterwards. Like, my whole life actually has been a bit of a blur. I remember snippets, but I don't remember a lot or everything. But for OSDD-1b, you don't have to have the gaps in the recall of everyday events, because if the alters switch, so for example, I would go back into the headspace and Stephen would front, and then afterwards I front again. I will remember what Stephen did. Well, when you have DID, you can remember parts of it or fully, but most of the time you won't remember what happened or who was out. So yeah, that's, if you have those memory gaps, it's more likely that you have DID. But if you don't have those memory gaps but do fit the other criteria, you probably have OSDD-1b. So, third criteria is that the symptoms cause clinically significant distress or impairment in social, occupational, or other important areas of functioning. And this is one criteria that is almost listed by every single disorder in the DSM-5, or what, like everything that's listed in DSM-5 might be more than just disorders. I'm not sure about that actually, but yeah, this is pretty logical. It needs to have an actual impact on your life and needs to impairment you in your everyday life. But I mean, if you look at the other symptoms, it's pretty clear that they would if you don't have good communication. You can have eventually good communication with your system, but it takes a lot of practice. And I'm still at the beginning of it, so my communication is alright, but it's not as good as I want it to be. But yeah. The fourth criteria is the disturbance is not a normal part of a broadly accepted cultural or religious practice. Note, in children, these symptoms are not better explained by imaginary playmates or other fancy play. So, yeah. If there is a culture or religious practice where it's normal to have something like this, I don't have an example right now. But if there is one where that's normal, obviously you can't say that it would be DID or OSDD, because, you know, it's a normal thing for this culture or religion. But if that's not the case, well, then it might be DID or OSDD. The fifth symptom, or the fifth criteria, it starts with symptoms in there, but the fifth criteria is the symptoms are not attributable to the physiological effects of a substance. For example, blackouts or chaotic behavior during alcohol intoxication or other medical condition, for example, complex partial seizures. It's always important that the symptoms don't overlap or can be explained with, well, some symptoms do overlap with other disorders, no matter what. Like with dyspraxia overlaps with so many other disorders, it's insane. But it's of course important that the signs are not explained by another disorder to make sure no one's misdiagnosed, even though that does happen sometimes, or sometimes people don't get a diagnosis for OSDD or DID, but instead get another diagnosis even though it is actually DID or OSDD. And obviously you want to make sure people are not under the influence of drugs or alcohol, but you know, that's pretty self-explanatory. But yeah, with OSDD-1b, it's mostly you have these alters that, you know, switch during the day, sometimes more, sometimes less, sometimes it's a very specific altar that mostly switch, and other times they don't switch to the front for like a week or a month or maybe even more. But you don't have the memory problems in everyday life between the switches that the ID system does have. I mean, I do have memory problems, but I just put that on my dyspraxia because from what I've read, that's the more logical explanation than OSDD-1b, except for, not remembering most parts from early childhood, and I now know pretty much for sure that is because of OSDD-1b, because I had flashbacks from when I was in primary school. So yes, I didn't remember and stuff. I was like, huh? That was traumatic? Oh, didn't realize that. But it was a pretty happy time, but apparently not. Oh well. But yeah, I hope that I have explained this well, that you understand everything. If you don't, just ask me in the comments below about it, or ask me anywhere else you can contact me. So yeah, if you liked this video and thought it was informational, if it helped you understand it better, give it a like. If you want to see more and learn more about OSDD-1b and dyspraxia, I want to have both. I haven't been diagnosed with OSDD-1b yet, but I'm planning on getting that diagnosis soon. You can subscribe, and I make videos every Wednesday, or at least I'm gonna try to upload a video every Wednesday. And yeah, I'll see you all in the next one about dyspraxia or about OCD.